Again, to nobody. The video.
We've been encouraged, we've been inspired, but we know what we really need is to be trained, and we will give and pay homage to the Son. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. When you audit a course in college, what you are saying is, I want the information without the responsibility. I want to learn whatever the course is seeking to teach, but don't give me homework and don't give me exams. I don't want the work of it, I just want the knowledge about it. You may be able to do that with college. They don't want to incur any of the responsibility of it, but they like the learning about it. Well, in college, you need to know that when you audit a course, you don't get credit for it because you didn't put in what the course required. And when you audit the Christian life by coming to hear the word, to be inspired and encouraged by the word, but to not act on the word that you've heard, you may have more knowledge and you may be more inspired, but you won't be changed. Because the transformation in the life through the word has to be activated by obedience. Without that, it becomes information with no credit. That is no transforming value. We're now at the 6th church that the Apostle John has written, the church at Philadelphia. This is the first Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. A city with a major trade route, plagued often with earthquakes. That was the nature of this city. Inside this city was a small church, a small gathering of believers, Philadelphia Bible Fellowship. This small gathering of believers found themselves in this pagan realm, and Jesus, who is the spokesperson through the shepherd of each one of these churches, speaks through this leader to the saints at Philadelphia Bible Fellowship at the church in Philadelphia. And notice what he says. Verse 7, he who is holy, who is true, who has the key of David, who opens and no one will shut, and who shuts and no one opens, says this. So before we get into all the idiosyncrasies of what he has to say to this church, he wants to give another description of himself, which he has done in each of these churches. And he describes himself as he who is holy and true. Holy means to be set apart as unique, special, or one of a kind. Holy means you're not to be put in a class with anything else. I describe holy often in using the difference between dishes in the sink, dishes in the kitchen, and dishes in the dining room. The dishes in the sink are dirty. They are dirty dishes. That's why they're in the sink. The dishes in the kitchen are common dishes. You use that for all of your meals. But the dishes in the den, well, they got their own room. They got their own glass case because they are special. They're not integrated with the common, and they're certainly not integrated with the profane, the dirty. No, that's special. They come out on special occasions. Jesus says, don't put me in a room with anybody else. Don't make me another one of the people you recognize. I'm not just a good person. I'm not just a great prophet. I am holy. I am separate. I'm one of a kind. I am unique. I'm in a class by myself. In Isaiah 40, verse 25, the Bible says God is holy. So when Jesus declares himself to be holy, he declares himself to be God. So we're not just talking about another name or one of the crowd. He says, I am unique, and therefore must be viewed and treated uniquely. I am not only holy, I'm also true. Truth has to do with ultimate reality. I'm the real deal. Anything that contradicts me is false and is a lie and cannot be trusted. So you are to measure everything by the truth. I am the way, the truth, and the life. So everything is to be measured by its inconsistency and compatibility to me. And if it's incompatible and inconsistent with me, it's wrong, no matter who told it to you, how long you believed it, and how well you know it. I am truth. I am holy and true. Not only am I unique and set apart, not only am I ultimate reality, but now he gets to the nitty-gritty. He says, I have the key of David. I have the key of David. Now, to appreciate what he's talking about, this is drawn from Isaiah chapter 22, verses 15 to 25. In Isaiah chapter 22, verses 15 to 25, the steward of the house of David, the kingdom, house of David, David was the king of Israel. It uses that to speak of the kingdom. The key belonged to this steward, but the steward did not do the right job. So he was fired. And when he was fired, a new steward replaced him. This new steward was Eliakim, and Eliakim was given the key to the kingdom. Not given a key, he was given the key. Jesus says, I possess the key of the king of David, of the kingdom of David. That is, I have the kingdom key. Notice it's a single key because it's a master key. Anybody who possesses a master key can get in any door. All the doors are available to him because he has a master key. So when the Bible speaks of the key, it speaks of two things: access and authority. So Jesus claims access to any door and authority over every door. Let me say that again. Jesus, the one with the key, the master key, has access to every door, which is what a master key gives you, and authority over every door, which is why he says he can open the doors he wants to open and lock the doors he wants to stay locked, because he is in charge. Now, if you and I don't get that, we're going to think people are in charge. We're going to think power brokers are in charge. We're going to think folk with money are in charge. We're going to think folk with clout are in charge. They may have a key, they don't have a master key. They may have a key to a door, they don't have a key to every door. Jesus says, I control the kingdom because I have control of the master key. Or as he says in Matthew 28, verse 19, he says, all authority has been given to me, not only in the sweet by and by, but in the nasty here and now. He says, all authority is given to me in heaven and on earth. To put it in everyday language, I got the key, so I'm in charge. I run the show. Now, in Matthew chapter 16, he says, I'm going to build my church, and I will give my church the keys to the kingdom. Watch this now. Jesus says, I have the master key. That's one key that can unlock any door. But I'm going to give to my people, the church, I'm going to give them the keys, plural, to the kingdom. So what he's given us is multiple keys to multiple doors, while he possesses the master key to every door. So he has the key, we have the keys. How does it work? When you use the right key, he'll back it up with the master key. But when you use the wrong key, the master key can't back you up, because the master key can only be consistent with the keys that he's given us. Let me put it another way. If you skip God's way to get it done, whatever it is you're trying to get done, then don't just call on God to use his master key when you've ignored the key he gave you. He does not want you to skip the responsibility he's given you and simply call on him because he got the master key. He wants to know your keys are consistent with his key. I will give you the keys to the kingdom. Well, what is that? It's authority. I'm going to share my authority with you when you are consistent with me. Authority, kingdom, means to rule. So God wants to rule not only in heaven, but in history through the person of Jesus Christ, and he possesses the key. See, the reason why we are not seeing more of the master key is because God is not seeing more of the use of us using the right key. See, we go and use the world's key to unlock heaven. Those keys don't fit in that lock. I shared with you before how I was in New York and I was at the Marriott Hotel and I checked out, caught a plane to Chicago, got into the Hilton Hotel, went up 35 floors in the dead of winter with my luggage, freezing outside. I put my key in the lock, click, click, red light, click, click, red light, click, click, red light. So I'm a little ticked off now because I done gone up 35 floors. It's cold outside. I catch the elevator down. I go to the registration desk. I say, excuse me, this key doesn't work. He said, because that key doesn't go to this hotel. I had forgotten to throw away my Marriott key and was using a Marriott key in a Hilton lock, and those kingdoms don't fit. Those kingdoms, those keys don't fit when you mix in kingdoms. And what Christians do is they mix kingdoms and wonder why heaven's door won't open. Because God won't use the key if you won't use your key. Your key must be consistent with his master key. And he says when God moves, when Jesus moves specifically, he opens and closes doors. And he says when he moves with his key, that is with his divine authority, he says when he does that, nobody can shut it. Okay, this ought to do something to your gizzard. Right there, right there, right there. Let me tell you what I'll do with your gizzard. What this means is, when you're using God's keys, people do not have the, he got the power to raise me or to put me down. He's got the power, or she's got the power to fire me or hire me. They got the power, they got all the power. Jesus said, but I got the master key. And when I open the door, I don't care who they are, where they come from, how much they have, what degrees they possess. When I have the key, if I decide to open that door, nobody gonna shut a door I open. And if I decide to lock them up, they're not gonna be able to get back in because I'm in charge here. I've got the key to the kingdom. See, we fear the wrong folk. We fear folk because they got a name. We fear folk because they got some money. We fear folk because they got some power. But you are related to the one who's got the key of David. Ultimate authority. Final say so. So it's, you know, you ever been into a prison for one reason or another? You know, they got these pods now, these elevated pods where the guards sit. And they got all these keys to let folk in or to block folks out. The world wants to hold you hostage, and Jesus says, but I got the key to every cell. I got the key to every door. So it's the one with the key who determines it. And if you don't get that, and if I don't get that, we'll run around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to get folk to do what folk may or may not be willing to do when you're supposed to know the one who's got the master key to any door that you have to deal with. Yeah, we got to understand who we're dealing with here. He says, I possess the keys. So what's the problem? He says in verse 8, I know your deeds. Behold, I have put before you an open door which no one can shut. Because you have little power and have kept my word and have not denied my name. Oh, watch it. In order for his key to work, for you, for me, and for his church, he says, you must have kept my word, obeyed me, and not denied my name. So one of the reasons many believers are not seeing God come through is because they do not keep his word. They come to church and hear it, but they do not keep his word, and or they deny his name. They don't want to be publicly associated with him. He says to them, you have little power. That means this is a small church that doesn't have big names, doesn't have notoriety people, doesn't have highly educated folk, doesn't have a bunch of rich saints sitting in the sanctuary. He says, you have little power. You're not all that in a bag of chips. People don't know who you are. They don't appreciate who you are. They don't respect who you are. You don't have what people view as substantive, significant, and worth applauding. But he says, I have set before you an open door. Even though folks say you are a nothing and a nobody, I have set before you an open door, and when I open this bad boy up for you, the folk with the name, with the money, and with the power will not be able to shut it. But the way I will open the door, and the reason I will open the door for you, your life, your world, and your ministry, is because you have obeyed my word and have not denied my name. See, we got folk wanting God open doors while they disobey him. We got folk wanting God to open doors while they are ashamed to bear his name. Notice, you can't deny his name. You can talk about God all you want. You can talk about God this and God that. That's not his name. His name is the Lord Jesus Christ, the second person of the Trinity, not this generic God. No. Yeah, God is there, but God has bequeathed or delegated everything to his son. It is at the name of Jesus every knee bow and every tongue confess that Jesus is Lord, to the glory of the Father. So if folk don't know your relationship to Jesus, you have denied his name, even though you may be talking about God bless you all day long. You have not denied my name. Jesus says, when you deny me on earth, I will deny you before my Father who is in heaven. When you confess me on earth, I will confess you before my Father who is in heaven. So if you are ashamed of Jesus Christ and don't want to be publicly associated with him, forget open doors. You can open your own door.
Boyfriend.
And that's why we get so messed up, because we around here trying to get folk to open up the door, create the opportunity, make the connection, give us the money, and we doing all this to open up doors, and Jesus is sitting there with a master key. And if you've never seen God give you an open door, see, you done missed something. If you've never seen God swing something open that looked like it was closed, you see, if you've never seen him come through when there was no way, Jose, if you've never seen him intervene in your circumstances, then you have not experienced the authority of Christ to overrule, particularly if you were of little power. Now, you didn't have the wherewithal, you didn't have the contacts, you didn't have the money, you didn't have the education, you didn't have the notoriety, but you had him. And sometimes around the church, people I don't know will be around, and maybe the custodial staff is not around, and they need to get into some place legitimately. And they're running to me. I don't know their name. I'm not familiar with them. Well, just because of the number of people, and they'll say, well, Pastor, can I get in this room to do something legitimate, whatever it is? I got a master key. I got a master key. And even though they're unknown, they know me. So even though they're unknown and it's legitimate and they know me, because I got a master key, I can open up a door. When other folk aren't around, I can open up a door. Jesus says, folk may not know who you are, but you know him. You confess him. You obey him. He got a master key. And nothing will make the Lord more real to you than when he opens things up, you are too powerless to open up on your own because you have little power, little notoriety, little name recognition. See, that's why the greatest people in our congregation are not necessarily the people with masters and doctorate degrees, not necessarily the folks with Mercedes and Benzes and Lincolns and what have you. No, it's not necessarily the folk who got the six-figure plus incomes. Nothing wrong with any of those things in and of themselves, but you have to need to know the most powerful people are people of little power who know him and who advertise his name, because they have access to a master key. Now the upscale folk can do that too, but he says you're of little power, but you have access to me.
Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
That's why I would suggest for me and for us, no matter what position you hold, money you have, or influence you will, keep yourself small. Folk may be whispering in your ear, oh, you all that and a bag of chips. Don't believe it. You better keep yourself small in the eyes of God. Pride cometh before the fall. You better keep yourself small. Don't think you all that. Because pride cometh before the fall, and you need to understand that humility is a big deal to God. That you don't view yourself that way. Now other folk maybe write you out, but how you think about you. You better keep yourself small, because Jesus says, even though you have little power, I'm going to open up a door for you. Because you have obeyed me and you have not denied my name. If God has blessed you, praise God. If God has given you a great job, bless God. If God has given you a big house, bless God. If God has given you a nice car, bless God. God has given you great clothes, bless God. Just so long as you know better than the widow on fixed income, because God will open doors for those with little power. So it's okay if we're blessed, just don't become elite. Don't become big-headed. Think you all that. No, On our best day, when we've been blessed the best, you are a sinner saved by grace. That's on your best day. I'm a sinner saved by grace on my best day. Don't you ever forget that. Because if you never forget that, then you don't look down on people who don't have your education, your money, your job, your career, your house. You don't look down on anybody, because you may be looking down on somebody who has access to a master key. Because you have little power. But I have opened up a door. And I've opened up a door for two reasons. You obey me and you don't deny me.
Our intel suggests that our
I can make it on my own. I got Visa and MasterCard, American Express. I can make it on my own. I know people. Okay? If you know Jesus Christ, you know somebody. Okay? You know people. And he says, and I open the door, and nobody will shut a door I open. I don't care what their name is and how much power they wield and how much money they have. He says in verse 9, behold, you have kept the word of my perseverance, and I will also keep you from the hour of testing, the hour that is about to come upon the whole world. He told me in verse 9, behold, I've caused those in the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. I will make them come and bow down at your feet and make them know that I have loved you. Whoa. He said, all those false folk out there, synagogue of Satan, they go to church, synagogue, but they're of the devil. Because just because you're in church, synagogue, doesn't mean you of the Lord. There is a synagogue of Satan. All right? So the religious talk doesn't mean a thing. He says, but I'm going to let them know that I have loved you. Even though you got a little power, I'm going to let them know you got more power than you look like you have. Maybe you remember the story about a big dog and a little puppy. German Shepherd and a poodle. German Shepherd and a poodle were standing at a door. And Big Dog, the shepherd, looked at the poodle and said, you little puppy. You can't do much. Look how small you are. Look how short you are. You know, you got that little girl ball. I'm Big Dog. Big Dog. Say, look at this door. I wonder how long it would take you to open this door. Because I can open this door. I can open this door quickly because I'm big and I can reach the knob. You can't even reach the knob. In fact, let's have a contest. Let's see who can open the door the quickest. Little puppy said, okay, you go first, Big Dog. Big Dog, you go first. German Shepherd jumped up on the door, got his mouth around the knob.
Oh yeah, he on it.
And put his mouth all around the knob and started twisting at the knob. And after about 2.5 minutes of working the knob, he got the door open. Then he pulled it shut and he said, beat that, a little puppy. Because Big Dog didn't show you. You can't even reach the knob. Your turn. Little puppy came up to the door, gave a small bark, scratched the door. The man on the inside came and opened it. Because see, when you know who's on the inside, you ain't got to go through all that. So don't let it bother you if you're a little puppy. Because if you know the Lord, he's got the key. And he can open up what the big dogs can't help you with. He said, you got the synagogue of Satan, and they're messing with you. They're calling you holier than thou. They say, oh, you one of them Bible people, and you bring up Jesus all you from the hour of testing. He calls it you in a test. Watch this. So if you're in a situation and the door has not yet opened, he says, consider it a test. And he says, and I'm going to walk you through the test until I reverse it. He says, I'm going to make your enemies your footstool. Ooh. Nothing makes God real than when he reverses the irreversible. Nothing makes God more real than when he flips something that looked unflippable. Nothing makes God so powerful to you when there was no way out. You were trapped. The devil looked like he was running the whole show. And then he reverses it. But you may say, but I don't see him doing anything. Oh yeah, well look at the next verse. He says, you're going through this test and I'm going to keep you through this hour, but I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have so that no one will take your crown. Oh, I love this word. I am coming quickly. That means suddenly. That means unexpectedly. That means out of nowhere. See, when God is silent, that doesn't mean he's still. I know you don't see him doing anything. I know it looks like you're just waiting for nothing. But God likes to come in suddenly. He likes to break in when you didn't expect it, when you didn't think there was any way that this thing could ever get better, that this trial could ever end. He loves to do something suddenly. And the reason why he likes to do things quickly or suddenly is so that when it happens, there is no debate on who caused it to take place. Because it came out of nowhere. Quickly. You wonder, where did that come from? And it becomes inextricably clear that this was heaven invading history, because God wants to join a favorite R&B group so that when you have seen him come through suddenly, you can start singing that song. Didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? He wants to blow your mind. And so, boom, he comes through suddenly. He says, and I will come quickly. So don't worry about it. If you don't have all the degrees, and if you don't have all the money, and you don't have all the prestige, and you don't have all the power, and people don't applaud you when you walk into the room, don't worry about it. Just obey him. Don't deny his name. And then wait for the Lord, I say. Wait upon the Lord, because he comes suddenly. And once you have this perspective, you're free. Because you know them people don't have the last say. They have a say, they don't have the say. They look like they're running the show until God swoops in on them and changes them, or changes their mind, or changes you, or changes the circumstances. It's like that time that the folks, when we were getting our church, the folks told us we couldn't meet in the school anymore. We didn't have a place to go. They were going to vote whether they want to let us stay or to put us out. God caused that to be an accident on the freeway, so the people who were going to vote against us, who were riding in the same car, couldn't get off the off-ramp. And when the council couldn't wait for them any longer, they voted without them. We won 5-4. As soon as the vote was over, they came rushing in. It was too late. Because God overturned that thing. And if you've never seen God do that, if you don't know what God can do, then you're just living with based on what man can do. And men do not have the final say so. That's why you're free. You're free. You're free. People don't get the final word because they don't have the master key to your life, to your world, to your family. They don't control it. He says, I have the master key. That must be your perspective. Perspective is everything. It's like to go wolf hunting, because that's $5,000 a wolf. So they went wolf hunting in Montana. They put up their tent. They got in their tent because the next day they were going to hunt for some wolves to get $5,000 a wolf. They go to sleep. Jed wakes up first in the morning. When Jed wakes up, there are 50 wolves, hungry wolves, surrounding their tent with blood-red eyes, with saliva dripping down the side of their mouth, with them growling and those sharp teeth. 50 wolves right there at their tent, hungry wolves. Jeb woke up Sam, said, Sam, get up. Sam said, what? Jeb said, we're rich. See, it all depends on your perspective. It all depends on how you see things. I know the devil may be nipping at you. The synagogue of Satan may be nipping at you. But when you got God's perspective, it changes what you're looking at. So, I'm coming quickly. I'm going to come suddenly. So what did he tell you to do in verse 11? Hold fast. Hold fast. I know you want to give up. I know you want to quit. I know you're tired. He says, hold fast. Make sure you're obeying and not denying. You hold fast to your obedience and non-denial, and at his time, suddenly. Don't let him take your crown. That's the right to rule. Even small folk have been called to rule. And now he gives us his final statement. He who overcomes what? The tendency to give up. He who overcomes the tendencies to stop obeying and to stop denying. He who overcomes that and says, God, as the old folks say, I'm going to hold on till the change comes. You know, it's rough, it's tough, but I believe you and not my circumstances as the final arbiter of my situation, he says, you hold on. He who overcomes, look at this, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. He will not go out from it anymore. I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and my new name. You see the word there? Name. First of all, he says, I'm going to make you a pillar. A pillar, it holds a building up. I'm going to make you a pillar in my temple. A temple is God's house. The pillars are located in God's house. Galatians 2:9 says that Peter, James, and John were the pillar of the church. They were holding up the church. In other words, he speaks of these people who overcome the propensity to give up as being in closest proximity to God. And he says, for these folk who are overcomers and who are in close proximity to God, they will have a name. And he keeps saying name in verse 12 over and over again. He keeps talking about name of this, name of that, name of this, and name of that. He says you will have a name in the New Jerusalem. Now, let's get something straight. Everybody is not equal in heaven. Okay? Let's get this straight. Okay. You can have a 40-watt bulb, a 60-watt bulb, a 75-watt bulb in your house, a 100-watt bulb in your house, a 150-watt bulb in your house. Now, all of them are bulbs, and all of them will light to their capacity, but everybody's capacity isn't the same. A 40-watt can't give you 100 watts because it's not established to be able to produce like that. Well, all Christians are Christians, but they don't have the same watts. And so they don't exude the same experience because they don't have the same relationship. Jesus said in St. John chapter 2, verses 23 to 25, it says, many believed on him. Many believed on him, but he would not commit himself to them because he knew what was in them. They got saved, but they had not yet got committed. They were on their way to heaven, but he couldn't use them on earth. They were forgiven for their sins, but they didn't want folk to know that they were Christians. They went to church, but they wouldn't obey the word. So they believed in him, but he would make no commitment to them. There are a lot of Christians who Jesus is just not deeply committed to in a practical way because they want to be 40-watt Christians expecting a 100-watt blessing. And it doesn't work that way. He wants to know that you're all in, that you're a full-time Christian, not a part-time saint. He wants to know that you will not deny him and that you will obey what he has commanded. And he says to that one, I will give him a name. You know, when people go to the Cowboy game, and they go to the Cowboy game, there are folks who are sitting in the stands. We don't know their name. Now they're in the location, but we don't know their name. In fact, that's the majority of the folk who are in the building. The majority of the folk in the building are in the stands, and they're just part of the crowd, and we don't know their names. Now, when it comes to the players, we know their names kind of, sort of, because if I were to ask you to name the name of the right guard, many of you couldn't do that. If I asked you to name the name of the punter, many of you couldn't do that because even though they have a name, because they're on the team, you may not know the name because of the position that they play. But now when we upgrade and start talking about wide receivers and quarterbacks and running backs, well, you know those names because those names have achieved a greater name in publicity because of the role they play on the team. But then, not only do you have the folk in the crowd and the folks on the team, some more nameless than others, some with a higher name, you got the Ring of Honor. In the Ring of Honor, those are folk who made a name. You see, the players come and go, but the folks in the Ring of Honor stay there because over time they held fast. Over time they played the game. Over time they didn't quit when they were injured. Over time they stayed committed to the task. In fact, their name is not only in the Ring of Honor, their name is in Canton, Ohio, in a bust in the Canton Hall of Fame, so that generation after generation will know who their name was. God has a lot of Christians. In fact, Oak Cliff has a lot of Christians that are in the stands. They just show up to watch the game. All they want to see is what the choir is singing and what the preacher is preaching, and they just come for the show. Now, folk in the crowd don't get dirty, don't incur responsibility, don't get knocked down, don't get blocked, don't get tackled, because they're not there to participate. They're just there to watch the show. But then there are some folk in the kingdom of God and at Oak Cliff who don't want to just stay in the stands. They want to get on the field. They serve in ministry. They help other people. They give to the advancement of the cause of the Lord. And then you got some superstars. Those are the Ring of Honor. Oh, it's not just the folk people who you know their name. It's folk who are the unknown folk, but you can count on them. You can depend on them, because they are forever holding their role, loving the Lord, serving the saints, giving to the Lord, and giving glory in their witness for the Lord. So I want to challenge you today. If you want God to put you in the Ring of Honor, if you want, when he hears you and sees you, to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. If you want him to call you out of the crowd and let all of heaven know you're one of his choicest servants, I challenge you to leave the stands, to come on the field. Now, I want to tell you the truth. You're going to get blocked a little bit on the field. You're going to get tackled a little bit on the field. But when they start handing out Super Bowl rings, you're going to get a Super Bowl ring because you were a Super Bowl saint. So let's get busy glorifying the Lord, obeying the Lord, not denying the Lord. Because if you are an obedient saint who does not deny him, you are an overcomer. Let's stand to our feet.
Oh, is that it?
Slow is the smolder of fire igniting in flesh. The skin cracks and dries and powders to ash, incinerating extremities long before flame penetrates to vital systems. The eyes will boil from the skull and cartilage will melt and run like wax. The insulated brain will be protected all the while, still cognizant of the excruciating agony. Bones will splinter next, molten marrow liquefying like hot lead before exploding in shrapnel to puncture the insides. The body will attempt to cool its essential organs by redirecting blood flow to the skin, where it will evaporate into great clouds of steaming red. Finally, the heat will become too intense, and the organs will start to swell and explode one by one, sending supernovas of anguish through the dying victim. The onlookers thought that Grand Master Jacques de Molay was long dead when dry words spoke out of the inferno for the final time. Dieu sait qui a tort et a péché. Il va bientôt arriver malheur à ceux qui nous ont commandé à mort. God knows who is wrong and has sinned. Soon a calamity will occur to those who have condemned us to death. The legend of Friday the 13th began on October 13th, 1307. The Knights Templar, a prominent Catholic military order during the Crusades, was betrayed by King Philip, who brought false charges against the Templar in order to seize their wealth. The Templar were arrested en masse, forced under torture to confess the blasphemous crimes against the Church. Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive, but not before he spat the curse of his dying words. Within a year, both Pope Clement and King Philip of France, who sentenced the Templar, were dead. The curse did not end with their death, however. A number of Templars made the decision to save their own lives by fabricating lies about their comrades, assisting King Philip in the condemning order. One of these cowards, named Jean Mallet, was even richly rewarded from the Templar offers for his false, treacherous testimonies. Fearing repercussion, Jean Mallet fled with his new wealth to Scotland, far enough to escape the punishment for his crimes, but not far enough to be safe from the Grand Master Jacques' final curse. Within a year, Jean would be dead as well, although not before he fathered a son to inherit his legacy. 710 years since that fateful day, Jean Mallet's descendants have since spread across the globe, carrying with them what remains of the Grand Master's curse. I myself am afflicted, and I am writing this now to warn all those who may be descendants without even knowing it. It will begin on a Friday, October 13th. An itching, burning sensation in your nose. Perhaps nothing more than a cold at first, but wait to act at your own risk. The burning will spread down your chest, making it feel tight and difficult to breathe. You'll sweat like you have a fever, and your body will start to feel warm as the blood evacuates your vital organs. Once you've reached this point, it's already too late. The fire has lit inside of you, and no medicine or artifice will be able to save you from your fate. This phenomenon has been recorded as one of the most spontaneous combustions in many accounts across the globe. It will only be minutes from here before you are reduced to ash, choking all the while on the noxious fumes of your own burning flesh. You who bear this curse have strayed too far from God for him to save you. I don't want you to worry, though, because there is another who listens to the desperation of a midnight prayer. Do not concern yourself with his nature. It is enough to know that you are in need and he has the power to help. Pray with all your heart as the fire rages inside of you. And when the voice answers, you must do as it says. The voice will tell you what ingredients you need to gather. Blood is common, so it may be wise to have some ready before the symptoms begin. Animal or human sacrifices are less common, but it all depends on the strength of the bloodline which ties you to the Grand Master's curse. Once you have followed the instructions, you'll notice the pain begin to subside within a few minutes. There will be another presence in the room at this point, but that's unavoidable. That's a side effect of the ceremony. Do not look at the presence, do not talk to it unless it talks to you, and even then, do not give it any information about yourself. If you are careful, and lucky, it will leave you alone. The curse will be lifted, and whatever happens after that, well, at least it won't be happening to you.
We received intel that somebody vital to enemy operations is here. Find them and capture them.
Alright, fix that. Jeez.
Do not let our target know we're here. Track them down quickly.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry about it, man. I'm a terrible person. Like I'm surprised you actually found me via YouTube. That's weird. This is the first time I've streamed on YouTube. You were searching for me, cuz I don't like that, cuz. Why you looking for me, cuz? I don't like that, B. I don't like that shit, B.
8 months, 47 days.
We can get it in when you come to. Oh, I said that out loud. We can get it in when you get to the house.
He's a bit of a genius. There's the court for white folks. Your client was ill this morning in general lockdown. I'm going to find out why. These are dangerous people. Denzel Washington is. I'm not walking away. Roman J. Israel Esquire.
What's Esquire mean?
It's a designation, slightly of a gentleman. A little night. Rated PG-13.
Tonight we have the first in a short series of stories, entitled The Part of the Deep Web That We Weren't Supposed to See.
There it is.
By Mr. Outlaw.
No witness.
I'll assume you all know about the Deep Web. Well, what you've heard is true. It's not a great place. While some people are there to score weed or firearms, or even out of sheer curiosity, others, well, they're obviously not up to any good. But I'm not here to talk about those sickos. I'm here to talk about what lies beyond that point. The more cryptic and unexplainable part of the internet. The part that nobody's really supposed to see. There was an infographic that cropped up a while ago. Not sure when. The 8 levels of the internet. Maybe you've seen it. As interesting as it was, it's complete bunk.
Nothing that I know. No, hold up.
Farragold derivation means nothing. And the Primarch system? I guess somebody's a fan of Warhammer. No.
Huh.
There's no quantum mechanics.
I won't be able to tell you until after I get back to the
That doesn't
ship.
mean it was an easy place to find. Now, I'm not going to begin to tell you how to get there. It's unlikely that you'd be able to, even if I did. I'm not tooting my own horn here. I just have a life outside of this. I was warned, of course. Everybody told me I wasn't going to like what I saw. That I wouldn't even understand it. Now, I'm passing off that warning to you. Don't try to look for this. There's no official name for this place, or at least I haven't seen one. There were rumors, however. These ranged from an Illuminati chat room to a virtual holding cell for an experimental AI gone rogue. In reality, it's a lot worse. After a long and painful process of breaking down firewalls, encryptions, solving bizarre philosophical riddles, and following hidden links, I was finally directed to a blank page with one line of text and a text box underneath. Quid queris, Latin for what do you seek?
It blew up because I was
Feeling
shooting at a
surprised,
red barrel.
But in retrospect, I didn't know what I was expecting. I'll admit, I was a bit stumped here. Partly because I don't know the answer to that question. I had no objective. I just wanted to see if I could do it. I tried some generic answers at first. I typed in the truth and enlightenment. You know, Matrix shit. Nothing happened. I tried a bunch of answers, but none of them worked. I was getting really frustrated at this point. Maybe this was a gag page. Maybe I really hadn't figured anything out. If only. I tried something off the wall. Not sure how this came to me or why I thought it would work, but I typed in what also seeks me. Now that I think about it, this thing might have been an AI. To my surprise, the page went blank. Like, fully blank. I waited. About 5 minutes, and I was directed to what looked like a forum. No, not even that. It was more basic. Just like a list of links over a brownish-yellow background. The links themselves were indiscernible. Just seemingly random sentences of characters, symbols, and letters. A lot of them I had never seen before. It almost looked like an alien language. Obviously, just a code I didn't understand. At this point, expectations were off the wall. Each link was a shot in the dark. I clicked the first one. It loaded up to a live feed of what seemed to be the Paris catacombs. I watched for a while, but it was ultimately uneventful. I moved on to the next link. It was a shaky video in a dark setting, but I could make out men in tactical gear. They were in a house, opening doors and sweeping each room. Eventually, they kicked one down to reveal a creature. Tall and humanoid with scaly skin, it was gnawing on a dismembered arm. They tried to shoot at it, but it escaped out the window. The video stopped there. Well, I was floored. What the hell was this? It all looked too real to the unreleased film footage. I was officially intrigued. Maybe this was worth the months of headaches and bloodshot eyes after all. I couldn't stop now. I started working down the list of links. With each click, everything got more and more bizarre, more disturbing. I stumbled upon a document called the Paragon Project.
Is it Punisher? I thought it was
trials of
Pierce.
human experimentation that would lead to superhuman
I know I have that on.
durability. It was an apparent success. Looked official too. There were essays on space-time anomalies, glitches in reality, and apparent pictures of alternate dimensions. There were detailed explanations regarding Area 51, the Bermuda Triangle, assassinations, disappearances, and the true nature of the Holy Grail. One of the more upsetting ones was a document referring to a world-ending bomb. A nuke that's 720,000 times stronger than the one that dropped on Hiroshima. I don't want to know why we would need that. I found contingency plans for different kinds of apocalypses.
Oh, halfway there.
Winter, biological weapons, viral outbreak. Some more peculiar ones were the Marianas Trench abnormality, the bluntly labelled strange man on the 15th floor, and one simply referred to as blackout. Recovered logs of skinwalker hunting expeditions. 911 transcriptions from residents of a town in Texas that went missing in 1977, and even the journals that belonged to the people in the Gillette-Love Pass incident. They didn't go insane because of the snow.
Let's override the security.
I spent hours on that, looking through pages and pages of things I felt I wasn't supposed to see. I came across a trailer to a silent film made back in 1910. One that apparently made people claw their eyes out after watching that nearly derailed the whole industry. There was a live stream of a hooded man sitting in front of the camera, head crouched down. He eventually lifted his head. Even though he had no mouth, a deep, guttural hello came through my speakers. Somehow I knew it came from him. I didn't stick around for that. There are obscure sets of step-by-step guides that involve things like cutting off your own limbs and sewing on corpses, performing religious incantations in the middle of the Siberian forest, and going into coordinates that apparently housed captive fallen angels. It was unclear what any of these were supposed to achieve. There was also a 20-second long clip entitled The Futility of Living. I didn't watch it. That's when I realized there was no way even the highest form of organized government had full control over this. One of the scariest things about this whole experience was that I didn't find an end to the list, no matter how far I scrolled down. I think I had a meltdown and passed out eventually, because I woke up on my floor in the middle of the night. I looked at my computer screen to see a looped helicopter footage of a massive, crab-like creature tearing apart a coastal island. I clicked off of it. I just sat there for the longest time. I couldn't comprehend what I was seeing, and I don't think I really wanted to. Now, I'm not really sure why I kept going. My brain was screaming for me to take my computer out to the lawn and smash it to pieces. But I didn't. I noticed something I hadn't before. A small message in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. I don't know if it's always been there or not. It was hard to read, so I had to squint. More Latin. Translated into, "Are you satisfied?" There were two options underneath it. Yes and no. Now, I knew the answer to this question. Hell no, I wasn't satisfied. I was horrified, scared for life. but I should have clicked on yes. If I had just clicked on yes, it would have taken me out of that godforsaken place. Back to comfort and sanity. Even right now, I can't tell you why I clicked on no. But once I did, the page seemed to refresh. It was still the same basic setup, except there were only 4 links. This time, there were no recognizable numbers or characters. Hell, it didn't look like anything that could have come from this world. Just a collection of extremely crude symbols that didn't give off any sense of pattern or direction. I clicked on the first link. After about 20 seconds, I slammed my computer shut. I can't describe to you what I saw. All I know is that I wasn't supposed to see it. Nobody should ever see something like this. It's not only that it didn't make any sense, I can't tell you why it didn't. I couldn't begin to grasp the images I was seeing. It wasn't graphic or anything, not like that. I just couldn't recognize anything. I could make out things moving, but not in a way any creature on Earth has ever moved before. Colours that I'd never seen before. Just thinking about it gives me a splitting headache. This is my best attempt at visualizing it. We have 3 dimensions.
I can start streaming on Fridays and Saturdays.
Forwards, backwards,
Ain't like I got anything else to do.
27.4 degrees southwest, etc.
You can stream.
These things weren't restricted.
You can stream when you home from home on lunch.
I can't explain it any further.
Streaming in my
I
dad.
didn't want to watch it one more second. I don't think I would have been able to. I left my room. For the first time in a while, I was planning to leave my house. I needed fresh air. To take a walk or something. Hell, I was thinking about running a marathon in the middle of the night just to get my mind off that shit for a few hours. I was putting on my jacket when I heard a knock at the door. I stopped dead in my tracks. Obviously, I wasn't opening up. About a minute and 5
Damn, that thing didn't want to die.
Before somebody spoke up. Open up. We know what you did, but we're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk. The tone wasn't threatening. Eventually, I obliged. I opened up my door to 2 tall, slim men in suits. They smiled at me. Can we come in? I still don't know how they found me. I thought for sure I was off the grid. We sat down on the couch. I guess I was just waiting for the answers at this point. One of them looked at me and said, "What were you looking for?" "I don't know, but I'm not going back," I responded. He smiled again.
Oh, is that what happened?
Wanted to hear. The other one piped up. "Who do you work for?" His tone was a bit more aggressive. I just shook my head. Look, I didn't know what I was getting into. I wasn't looking for anything. They just stared at me for a while. "I'm not going to tell anyone. Trust me." They finally responded. "They're not worried about that. I doubt anyone would believe you." Another smile. Somehow, it felt genuine. "We just wanted to know what your priorities were." In retrospect, that was a very strange question. "And just do us a favor before we leave," I perked up. "Give us the device you used to access it." I didn't ask any questions. I ran upstairs and basically tossed my laptop at them. They both smirked at me one last time before heading to the door. Just as they were about to leave, one of them turned back. "I don't think you need to be told, but don't try this again. And don't show anyone else how to get there either. We'll know." I didn't ask who they were. I'm not sure I would have wanted to know. It's been a week now. I don't go on the internet so much anymore. After this, I'm going to try and forget. To try and not think about it anymore. I've started having horrific nightmares. Been seeing a therapist for that, but I don't think it's helping. Anyways, I'm not going to let this consume the rest of my life. The thing is, I'm afraid this might not be possible. there are some things we aren't supposed to know about. Probably for our own safety and sanity. Don't try to seek them out. It's better that way. However, it might be a bit too late for me.
Okay. God damn it.
Never read the writing in your dreams. By longest walk. Have you ever tried? You're asleep, vaguely aware that you're dreaming. You come across a piece of paper, a book, a poster. You focus and try to read what it says, but it's just a garbled mess of letters, maybe symbols. Except when it isn't. Sleep specialists have studied our inability to read whilst dreaming, and similar phenomena related to mirrors, music, etc. The theory goes, our brains shut off the areas in charge of logic and reasoning whilst we're asleep. That's what allows us to accept as reality all the wacky dream stuff that happens. With one exception. I'm sure everyone has heard of lucid dreaming by now. Lucid dreaming allows you some control over your dreams by exercising those parts which normally shut off during sleep. It works to varying degrees. I've never had much luck with it myself. The occasional flying through space or celebrity sex dream where you recognize that you're dreaming, but get to stay in the dream and enjoy it for a bit. Nothing crazy. Until last night. At least I think it was last night. I was deep into a dream. Shopping at some strange mall that only sold things made out of marshmallow. The walls and floors were made out of naked Barbie dolls stacked on top of each other.
That ain't weird at all.
Typical weird dream stuff. All of a sudden, Black Widow walks around the corner. She sweet talks me for a while, and as she starts to put the moves on me, I realize I'm dreaming. I have a little hell yeah moment, and then proceed to direct the dream in the direction I want it to go. Mid-Widow coitus, I look up to see a movie poster on the wall in front of me. It has only words on it, no pictures. At first I couldn't make them out. I'd start to get the hint of what they said, and then it would escape me again. Widow forgotten, I walked over to the poster to get a closer look. I could almost feel my brain flexing as I concentrated harder and harder, trying to make out the words. And then, suddenly, they were there. They will burn. The words slapped me in the face and I woke up immediately. What the fuck? I chalked it up to my subconscious being a little fucked, and as I was close to my usual wake-up time, went about my morning as usual. Just after lunch that day, I sat down at my desk to check my emails. Spam. Spam. Political bullshit forwarded from another crazy aunt. More spam. And there it was. An email from an address I couldn't quite make out, with a subject line that was just a meaningless string of odd shapes and lines. Fuck me, I thought. I'm still dreaming. Although, what a weird dream. A typical Tuesday morning. Nothing out of the ordinary whatsoever until this email. It being a dream and all, I figured it couldn't hurt to open the email. A dream virus can only infect a dream computer, right? I click on it. It takes a few seconds to load. I fully expected to see more of the same squiggles and shapes as I did in the subject line. But I did not. I saw 3 words. Clear as day. I didn't even have to concentrate as hard as I did before. It felt normal. Like normal reading. Flesh on fire. A chill went down my spine, and a split second later the message was gone. Completely gone. Not in my inbox, my saved mail, deleted mail, it wasn't anywhere. Like it never existed. I made my way to the bathroom and started splashing water on my face in an attempt to wake the fuck up. Splash. Nothing happened. Splash again. Still nothing. What the fuck? I'm standing there, dripping with water, and I glance up at myself in the mirror. And then I scream and run. What I saw an emptiness. A figure that wasn't me, but in the place of me. And it had no face, no features, nothing. Nothing but deep, empty space that went on forever. I felt the emptiness reach for me. I felt the eternity inside of it, and that's when I ran. As fast as I could, out of the bathroom and straight to the stairwell. Shining above the door where the emergency exit sign should have been were more of those strange shapes. By the time I got to the door, I could make them out. Eat their ashes. I barreled through the door and down the stairwell and outside the building. I paused, bent over to catch my breath. And then, "Hey, you okay?" It was Jennifer, our office manager, in the smoke break. I stood up to answer her. Before I could say, no, I'm fucking not, I saw it over her shoulder. What usually said entrance of the parking garage screamed out to me in big, bold letters. "Burn them now!" I darted past Jennifer, who just stood there, confused, into the garage and made a beeline for my car.
Wait, what's the name of
Do
the
you know how
story?
many letters and numbers
Or
there
what
are?
am I listening to in general?
So
In general, this is a
setting
creepypasta.
signs.
It's
I did my
weird.
best to ignore them all, but I'd catch a glimpse here and there as I sped towards my apartment. Fire. Soul. Ashes. I looked past all the shop signs and billboards. I avoided my rear view and side mirrors with everything I had. I didn't want to see anymore. I didn't want to read anymore. What the fuck was happening, and why the fuck wasn't I waking up? I made it to my apartment, locking the door behind me. I'm in my closet now.
Because you're from Georgia,
There were too
which is
many
the only
words.
answer I have to
Every
give.
room I went in, concert posters, unopened mail, clocks,
Not a good one, but it's an answer.
burn, flesh, now, now, now. That's what it's been for the last few times I looked. It feels like it's screaming at me. If written words could scream, God, I can feel it in my brain. I don't know what
I
it
have
is.
rupture,
All I
serration,
know is that I must have
ammo
woken up or
drum,
set it
fast
free or
hands,
something when I read
bane
that
of the
first poster.
Grenier,
And now it has me.
Stormbringer,
And I think I know what it wants.
bane of
Flesh on
corpse.
fire. Eat the ashes. It wants
Yeah.
to kill.
I'm an ass.
And it wants me to eat what remains. It's been hours in this closet. Maybe days. I have no way of knowing. I look at my watch and all it says is now. I'm sorry if this was hard to read. I scroll back up to see what I've written and all I see is now, now, now. This was a mistake and I know what I have to do. It wants burnt flesh. I'll give it burnt flesh. Mine. The label on the vodka bottle. The warning on the matches. Now. 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 Either I'm still asleep and this will be the thing that wakes me up, or I'm not asleep. All of this was real. And I'll be dead soon. It doesn't matter. Either way, the nightmare ends. I'm ready. Now.
Wait, what? My ammo is damaged. Wait, what? Oh, it says damaged. They're all damaged. Oh well, they're not all damaged. Oh, Warframe to the max. Ugh. Look at me, I'm Jamal. The fuck up. So I take it once they're damaged enough, they just break. Because if that's the case, that's kind of beneficial to me. This is disgusting. Kids, never buy bootleg cereal. If you're gonna have cereal, get the name brand stuff. Malto meal is for people who hate themselves, single dads, and moms who get wick. That's kind of offensive. That's kind of offensive. I really don't care. Ugh, Malto meal. It's like, try our cereal. It looks just like the other stuff, except if you put it in milk, it kind of just dissolves. It's fucking disgusting. Alright, man, shoot. I'm gonna get off here. When you get to the Krilla tonight, like, we'll get on and do some Warframey stuff. Because, yeah, I didn't know that the mods get the things get damaged. And I'm guessing that over time they break. You get them damaged so you can have undamaged ones. They don't get damaged. They don't get damaged. Ugh. Because wait till you get off work, and then you can explain. Because I see you've been playing Warframe. Oh, look at me, I'm Jamal. Oh, I'm good. Oh, fucker. Because I have no idea what yeah, shit. Alright, yeah, man. When you stuff and things, when you get home, we'll have to figure. You can tell me all the things you've learned, because as of right now, yeah. But until next time, which will probably be later tonight, I don't know. Because when I stream, my connection's terrible, so we'll have to see. But I'm leaving now. I didn't hit the button yet, but I am leaving. Watch me, I'm gone. Oh no, audio quality up.